You're listening to Health Professional Radio. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Neil Howard. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Linda Anderson, CEO, President, and Co-Founder of Paragonix Technologies Incorporated. That's a company that's delivering a new standard in organ preservation and transport. She's joining us on the program to talk about a new research study called Guardian Lung. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Lisa Anderson. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
CEO, President, Co-Founder of Paragonix Technologies Incorporated. Give us a bit of your professional background and talk about how your company is delivering this new standard in organ preservation and transport.
Yeah, sure. As you already said, I am the founder of Paragonix. Founded the company about 10 years ago with the goal of changing the way organs are transported for transplant. Organ donation and transplantation is really a logistical and medical masterpiece. Reason why it's logistically challenging is that you have a hospital with a donor, a transplant center with a patient awaiting an organ, and multiple medical teams and what's called organ procurement organizations across the country that facilitate the donation process. Mm-hmm. So a highly complex, logistically challenging, medically demanding situation. And we here at Paragonix are honored to play a small part in this by providing the best possible products and customer support for the transplant community. Let me tell you a little bit about why we think organ transport has long been overdue for innovation.
Okay.
The current standard of care for organ transport is placing an organ in a cooler with crushed ice. Temperature is really difficult to control this way, yeah, and data certainly can't be collected. It also limits the geographic distances that donor organs can travel. Mm-hmm. What we have made available here at Paragonix is a medical device that makes a completely uncontrolled situation now completely controllable, improving preservation even over extended geographic distances. And that's why we think we are really making an impact in this community.
What are these innovations called?
Yeah, so currently on the market, we have a donor heart preservation device called the Paragonix Sherpa Pack Cardiac Transport System. Mm-hmm. And we have a lung preservation device called the Paragonix Lung Guard. Mm-hmm. Both the Sherpa Pack and the Lung Guard are FDA-cleared donor preservation devices, and they work by placing a donor organ, in our case here a lung or a heart, in a highly controlled environment and ensuring that that organ is maintained in an optimal condition. What the Sherpa Pack and the Lung Guard also do is to monitor the organ during transport, and the devices also report this information continuously via our Paragonix app to the entire transplant team. This is important so that the team that travels with the organ, as well as the surgical team waiting for the donor organ at the recipient side, are now fully informed about the donor organ being preserved and transported.
Now, are these devices cabinets and of some type, and are they self-contained as far as power source?
Yeah, they're self-contained devices. For the heart, we have a dual-nested sterile canister that holds the organ using a proprietary suspension system. And for the lungs are placed in bags in a safety vault that basically is creating an optimal temperature environment for the donor organ.
Are these devices only for adult donor organs, or are there pediatric devices as well?
Great question. We really think that pediatric donor organs are an incredibly precious resource for patients waiting for a life-saving transplant. We here at Paragonix are incredibly humbled by the opportunity to serve and support the pediatric transplant patients. For example, for heart transplantation, 1 in every 6 hearts transplanted comes from a pediatric donor. So for us at Paragonix, it's really been a critical mission to be able to adapt our devices for pediatric use. We support pediatric centers here in the United States as well as in Europe, and have also initiated a clinical database to collect the data from pediatric patients.
I did say that we were going to discuss a bit about a new research study called Guardian Lung. Let's talk about this research study. What exactly did it involve and who are the candidates?
Yeah, so our Guardian registry is for both heart and lung. It's one of the largest clinical data collections specifically looking at the impact of advanced transplant preservation using the Paragonix devices. We currently have 15 transplant centers that are collecting data for this important database, and we're also continuously releasing new clinical data. For example, we had our first international report of the Guardian Heart Registry presented in April this year at the International Society for Heart and Lung Transplantation, and we have several publications being released this year. You also mentioned a lung-specific registry, which we call Guardian Lung. We also have in the pipeline a Guardian Liver database, which will be collecting data on liver patients. So with these three clinical registries and databases, we really believe that we're sort of in an industry-leading position here in terms of clinical data collection on organ preservation and transplantation. And in just over a year of data collection, we will have data for over 1,000 patients by the end of 2021.
You know, when it comes to organ preservation and transport, are there vast differences in the methods and procedures based on the organ, or is it pretty much the same across the board? Regulate the temperature, protect the organ, and get it to the surgeon safely?
Yes, as you correctly point out, we use similar principles for all of the organs because they all have, very similar needs during that very, very special moment for the journey between donation and transplantation. Temperature maintenance and providing that optimal homogeneous temperature for an organ is certainly a very important parameter for organ preservation. What they do differ in is, organs can be outside of the body for varying intervals. So, for example, for hearts can really be only outside the body for about 4 hours. Lungs and liver, anywhere between 8 to 10. Kidneys can go a little bit longer, over 24 hours. But the principles of organ preservation are very similar across all organs.
Now, if you would, a bit about the Option program.
Yes. So Option, the Paragonix Option program is a new program that we launched. Option actually stands for On-Demand Preservation Services Network. And the Option program provides products and support for transplant centers to get fast access to Paragonix transplant products wherever they are in the United States. Especially during COVID times now, transplant teams have faced additional logistical challenges. For example, the inability to travel to a certain site of organ donation. Often then, local surgical teams help out. With this program, our customers can rest assured that they have access to the products that they need, and so we can really provide the best possible support for the organ preservation period. For example, we recently supported a very challenging situation where organs were recovered in Alaska, and they needed to be transported to the East Coast and to the West Coast. So one organ went to the East Coast, the other one went to the West Coast. Our Option program enabled the preservation of both the heart and lungs. So one organ went to the east, one to the West Coast. It was really, a remarkable collaboration among multiple transplant centers, multiple organ procurement organizations, and several logistics companies, and of course our own team here at Paragonix.
Well, give us a website where we can learn much more about Paragonix Technologies.
Yeah, please visit us at paragonixtechnologies.com.
Great. And that's Paragonix Technologies.com, correct?
That's correct.
Doctor, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Lisa Anderson, CEO, President, and Co-Founder of Paragonix Technologies, Incorporated. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.